Hi, everyone. My name is Jody Simms. I'm a DJ, obviously. But I'm also an educator. I teach high school English in Houston, Texas. And I'm a researcher. I'm in my PhD program right now in education. And I'm the creator of this platform, this show, Pussy Rap. So Pussy Rap, it officially, I guess, became a platform in 2021. But I feel like the story began way before that. It began in my childhood through my mom's voice and through my father's history as a DJ, my Louisiana Creole heritage, and the Southern Black music that surrounded me. And then all of this continued when I started at Barnard College, which is a women's college in New York City. And I majored in Africana Studies there. And I was one of two women on the executive board for the Hip Hop Society for Columbia University, which Barnard is a college within the larger Columbia University system. And then I taught myself how to DJ. I eventually started DJing for Jungle Pussy. And then I made my NTS show in 2019. And then the platform followed. And so I'd say that like Pussy Rap is where all of my experiences meet. And so basically Pussy Rap is a radio show. It's a cultural platform. It's a listening practice. And it's an evolving archive, and it's centering women in hip hop and rap, but specifically for me, Black women in hip hop and rap. And so for me, Pussy Rap is something that is celebrating Black women's full creative range. And it's not only about rap that's discussing sex, but it's a perspective, it's an energy, and it's this like refusal to allow these outside audiences to determine women's value or the value that women put within music. And so I guess like the central question that guides me when I'm thinking about Pussy Rap is what happens when Black women are not treated as guests, accessories, video girls, side characters, or exceptions within hip hop, but as cultural architects. So speaking about my childhood, the sounds of my childhood sounded like a lot of different things. It sounded like my mom singing. My mom sings like an angel. And my grandfather was a pastor. So my mom was the leading voice in his church and in my life. And it sounded like Neo Soul, right? So like Erykah Badu, right? Michelle Nigacello. I think I'm saying her name right. Nigacello. My mom loves her. TLC. My mom loved reggae. My mom liked 50 Cent. Chopped and screwed music because I'm from Houston, right? So used to like on Sundays when you turn on the radio, everything was chopped and screwed, like on 97.9, which is like our hip hop station out there. And then like for me, like as a kid, I had like a CD player. My first CD was Under Construction by Missy Elliott, right? So I remember just like playing it till it was scratched up and I couldn't play it anymore. But the most important thing is the zydeco music, right? I don't know if y'all know what that is, but it's like a genre of music that's very specific to Louisiana. It's something that I grew up on. It's what we dance to back home. It's I don't know, it's what we play at family events. I'm gonna play some of it for y'all so y'all can hear. But it's a very big part of me. So my music taste comes a lot from my mom. She's my girl, right? And then I think my position as a DJ comes from my father, right? Like it's funny because my mom told me that when she met my dad, he was DJing. And he used like this Pioneer reel-to-reel tape equipment. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? It's like, right, yeah. So that's what my mom tells me my dad used to DJ on, which I think is really funny, knowing my dad, who he is now. But I know that that's where, I get my DJ affinity from. So the first song that I want to play is Rosie Leday. So Rosie Leday is a woman. She's one of the few women in zydeco music. And the song that I'm going to play is called You Can Eat My Poussière. Do y'all know what that means in French? I think it means dust, right? So it translates to You Can Eat My Dust. But it's a play on words, right? And About, let's see, when was this? Months ago, Solange came to Houston, and she did a thing at this thing called El Dorado Ballroom, which is this like iconic Black space where in the South, that's usually where the Black music would be played. That's where we could go to listen to like secular music, right? So Solange organized a part of the El Dorado series. She organized a Rosie Leday concert, and I was able to take my mom. And my mom, she lived, we met Rosie, like it was a great experience. But I think that she's like a really good foundation for what pussy rap is. She's not a rapper, right? It's zydeco music. But the title even, it has like this wordplay, right? The sense of humor. And I think that like this particular song is something that it speaks to me already hearing women using language and music to really assert themselves. And assert their power. So I think while you're listening, you should listen for the accordion. The accordion is a very central instrument to zydeco music. It's also central to Tejano music, right? So I'm from Texas. We have a very large Mexican population in Texas, people specifically from Mexico, right? So Tejano music is very popular, and the accordion is very popular in that too, but it's also very popular in zydeco music. There's an event that happens in Houston called the Kings and Queens of Accordion. And it's when Tejano and zydeco music come together, and there's a big celebration. It's a big concert that happens every year. And so I just want you to listen to like her attitude and her delivery, the fact that she's not, asking for permission for anything. And the narrative of the song is basically about like a partner who has treated her poorly. Instead of centering his power, she's taking a stance of dismissal in a stance of this like forward motion. So we can listen to it. This is a part of my culture, my inheritance, something that I grew up on. That's zydeco music, if you didn't know. If you want to know more about it, I can hit you. You can hit me up. I do this party in Houston called Zydeco Bounce, and it's where I'm playing like zydeco music and bounce music only. And so that's a big part of who I am. And yeah, so my relationship actually to Louisiana and the Gulf Coast, right? It's kind of shaped by displacement in a way. So when I guess I was in the 4th grade, I was living in Beaumont. My grandparents moved to Beaumont, and my mom grew up in Beaumont. Beaumont, Texas it's outside of Houston. It's about 45 minutes from the Louisiana border. And And when I was living there, Hurricane Katrina struck Louisiana in 2005. And right after, and so Katrina struck New Orleans, but we felt the after effects in Beaumont. But right after that, Rita struck, like a month later. And so Rita hit Beaumont very, very hard. And it was a crazy experience. My mom and my grandfather are very, very close. And my grandfather was very much like, I'm not leaving. Like, even though they were like, it's a mandatory evacuation, he was like, I'm not going nowhere. So my mom stayed. Me, my brother, and my mom, we stayed in Beaumont until my grandpa finally decided to go. But everyone else had went to Oklahoma, like my grandma, my aunt, my uncle. And so we were kind of running from the storm, basically, right? My grandpa, he pastored a church in Jasper, Texas, which is a very country town, y'all. Very country town. Y'all probably have never heard of these. But we went up to his church. Then we heard we had like these little TV that we was carrying around, and we heard that the storm was coming to Jasper, so we had to go that way and go towards Louisiana, through Louisiana to Mississippi. So my grandpa's from Mississippi. My grandma's from Louisiana. And so it was just like a lot of like, the experience kind of taught me that like the space that I'm in, it can be temporary and like anything can change that in an instant, right? But it also taught me that you can carry who you are with you wherever you go, right? And you can see who you are around you, even if it's not somewhere familiar to you even if it's not somewhere familiar to you, but somewhere that might be familiar to your background, right? So I really understand myself as a Southern Black Texas woman with Louisiana Creole heritage, right? I was telling Suzi the other day that while I don't go to Mississippi very often, I know I look like Mississippi because I know I look like my grandpa's people, right? My grandpa's sister, she's still alive. She looks just like my mom. I look just like her daughter, right? So I know what I look like, right? I know who I am. And so as I moved to school and college, right, I'm majoring in Africana Studies. That's what I chose to major in. When I entered college, I thought I was going to do computer science. I got there and I quickly realized that was out of the question for me, right? I didn't feel connected to it, and I genuinely wanted to have Black women as my professors, right? And so with Africana Studies, it just made me start listening to music more carefully and more critically. So I started paying attention to more than just the lyrics, but the presentation of the women, the production, right? The beats. Why was this beat chosen? Like, what does this mean? What's the significance of this? The performance, the visual imagery, the way the sounds were arranged, all of these different things, right? When I was in school, I took this class called Black Women Style and Performance. It was taught by someone who was the lead education chair at the Apollo at the time. And it helped me realize that, like, Black women, when we enter musical spaces, right, it's more than just the song. It's the clothing, the style, your body, the way you're moving, right? It's not just about looking cute, but it's a form of resistance in a way. And so the way that, a Black woman presents herself, whether she's a musical artist or not, it can be a refusal of these stereotypes and identities that other people are placing upon her, right? And so I think for pussy rap, right, this concept is like that Black cultural production is knowledge production. Black women's cultural production is knowledge production. And Black women's embodied knowledges, right, that are often dismissed as ghetto, vulgar, right, excessive, unserious. That is what pussy rap does. It refuses those things that are placed upon Black women when they make music, or Black women when they even just present themselves. So the next song is Crime Mob, Stilettos, right? The reason I picked it is because this is one of the songs I heard in middle school, right? In high school. We're at the homecoming dances. If you play this, everybody's going crazy, right? And, the thing about this song is that these girls are rapping over this, like, hardcore beat, right? This, like, male beat, you would say, right? And they're talking about shoes. They're talking about stilettos, right? Over this beat that you wouldn't even imagine that a woman would be on. And so I think that this song doesn't treat femininity as the opposite of aggression or what have you, right? The women are entering the club, they're wearing the stilettos, right? they have as much authority as anybody in the room. The stilettos aren't something that's fragile, right? But it's like an announcement. And so I will let y'all hear this song. I know y'all probably know this song, but we'll listen.
All right, play that shit.
Stiletto pumps in the club. Yeah. Stiletto pumps in the club. Yeah. Get crunk.
Homegirl, bow down when you see me because I'm coming up fresh, right with the realest. You feel me? So you should call me the best. I can look jazzy, act nice with my stiletto heels on, but if a hoe that's up and try me, then her hair will get thrown. I'm turning heads left and right, so next you see one foot step out the car, strolling through the club, then I make my way right by the bar. Yeah, your nigga eyeing me, I take him from you, so watch out. I'm looking jazzy, acting classy, but I got a sassy now. Hair is done and nails are too, and I match from head to toe. Then to top it off, I'm rocking 6-inch black stilettos, ho. Different color every day, that's just to match the mood I'm in. Silver, red, gray, and black, looking this good should be a scene.
Stiletto pumps in the club. Whoever thought that these girls would get drunk? Stiletto pumps in the club. Whoever thought that these girls would get drunk? We rockin' stiletto, so 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 we rockin' stiletto. Stilettos on my feet, I'm sexy with a mug. I'm bucking all y'all haters just to see if y'all crumb. We swinging, throwing bows, cause y'all boys thought we soft. I'm knocking heads off, I'm the baddest of them all. Making niggas fall, man, they fight and it tussling. Club on the scale that the girls might start busting. We crunk and we thug and we taking it public. This is for the girls in the trap, steady hustling. Stiletto pumps in the club. Whoever thought that these girls would get drunk? Stiletto pumps in the club. Whoever thought that these girls would get drunk? We rockin' stiletto, so we rockin' stiletto, so we rockin' stiletto, so we rockin' stiletto, so.
Okay, period. So, thinking about college again, right? When I was on the Hip Hop Society e-board, there was only two of us girls. It was me and my friend Morgan. And I joined it because, like, everything that I would write in school, it's crazy because, like, when you're at Columbia, you could do whatever you want, really. If you could make it scholarly, you could get what you wanted, right? So every assignment I had, I tried to make it about music. And I had, like, this professor. Actually, this was a man. His name was Michael Ralph, and he supported me 110%. Like, everything, when I would go meet with him in office hours, he would validate me and what I wanted to write about or what I wanted to bring into whatever we were working on in that class. And so something that we did with the society, we organized these on-campus ciphers that happen every week. And they happened in this building called the Intercultural Resource Center, which was a residential building, and I eventually lived in that building as well. And basically, one thing that I can really remember about these ciphers is, do y'all know the group Oshun? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they were at NYU at the same time that I was at Barnard. So they used to come to ciphers and, like, be rapping and stuff. And it was very empowering because, you know, there were girls in the space that was primarily occupied by a lot of males, right? And so with all of that being said, you know, there was this absence of women that was recognizable within the society, no matter how much. Oh, y'all can hear my fan. I'm sorry. I'm hot. I'm sorry about that. So, like, in the organization, it was evident that there was this, like, absence of women, right? An absence of women voices, women faces, etc. And I think that one thing that really brought me into DJing, because at that time I wasn't DJing, right? But what I was doing was I was playing the music at the parties. When there was a party, I was on YouTube and I had tabs. And I was fading in and out. And, like, everybody knew when I walked in, put her on the aux, right? So I had met this girl, her name was Soleil. She was the first girl I ever saw DJing. She was, like, the coolest person ever. Like, wow, she was so cool, right? She, like, her final thesis was on hip-hop, was on women in hip-hop. She had this, like, documentary she did, and she included Morgan and I. And Morgan and I and our other friend Laura, we had this group called The Future Is Now, and we were rapping. I put some of my music, I think, on Instagram a week ago, maybe. But I had a song called like Beef on Twitter, and it was just about like people on Twitter bucking up to me because that was my reality at the time in college. But what I'll say is that Soleil was really important to me because she was very free and she was DJing, and I felt like I didn't know, like my grandma told me DJing was for guys. So like I didn't know like that was something that I could do at that time. I was 17, right? So the third song, right, is Nicki Minaj, Come on a Cone, right? And so Nicki Minaj is very crucial to my life, right? Starting with Bedrock. But she's also crucial to my life in college as well. So I saw her like really claiming her authority, inside this male-dominated genre, right? She wasn't really waiting for it to be given to her. And so when you listen to the song, you can notice the humor, the exaggeration, the way she's shifting her vocals, and how she's positioning herself above all of these people that are trying to challenge her, right? And in one part of the song, she talks about put my dick in your face, right? And, she's claiming the symbol of masculine authority as if it already belongs to her, right? And she's not even asked, like, can I use this or whatever? She's taking it, right? She's taking this dominance that, like, usually within hip hop and rap is afforded to men, but not necessarily afforded to women. And so Nicki, what she taught me is that vocal performance itself can build like this world. The characters, the voices she does, the language, the theatrical shifts, they're not just like additions to rap, but they're part of its whole composition. So yeah, let's go ahead and listen.
Bitches ain't serious, man, these bitches delirious. All these bitches inferiors, I just pimp my interiors. I just pick up and go, might pick up a hoe, might give conversation if he kick up the dough. Never mind my money, never mind my stats. Every bitch wanna be me, you can find them in sacks. Pink Friday 2 milli, super bass triple black. When you see me on Ellen, just admit that I'm winning. Do a show for Versace, they request me by name. And if they don't get Nicki, it just won't be the same. When I'm sitting with Anna, I'm really sitting with Anna. Ain't a metaphor punchline, I'm really sitting with Anna. Front row at Oscar, De La Renta posture. Ain't a bitch that could do it, not even my imposter. Put these bitches on lockout, where the fuck is your roster? I pull up in that new Nara and pasta. Shake my head, yo, I'm mad. Ain't a bitch in my zone, in the middle of nowhere, I just feel so alone. Got the certification, cause it come with the stone. But this ice is so cold, it should come on the go. It should come on the go. It should come on the go. Man, my ice is so cold, it should come on the go. It should come on the go. It should come on the go. Cause my ice is so cold, it should come on the go. If you wasn't so ugly, I'd put my dick in your face. Dick in your face, put my dick in your face. Shake my head, yo, I'm mad. Ain't a bitch in my zone, in the middle of nowhere, I just feel so alone. Got the certification, cause it come with the stone. But this ice is so cold, it should come on the go. It should come on the go. It should come on the go. Man, my ice is so cold, it should come on the go. It should come on the go. It should come on the go. Cause my ice is so cold, it should come on the go. Ooh, dick in your face. Ooh, dick in your face. Ooh, dick in your face. Put my dick in your face. Put my dick in your face. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Amazing. Yes. Okay. So moving on. So like I was telling y'all about the music and the aux, me being on the aux. Like before I even had the DJ equipment and stuff, I was controlling the sound at the parties. Like I felt like I was like the queen of the party. Like y'all don't understand. Imagine being a freshman in college. People know you know good music. You walk in, they like, put her on the aux, put her on the aux. I was up. I felt great, right? So with DJing, like nobody really taught me how to DJ. I actually taught myself. I used to go to Guitar Center in Times Square. Like, you used to could go to the Guitar Center and put your USB in and play. And so I used to do that. And I would be there, and these little white boys would be there and be like, look, your time is up. My turn, right? So that was a thing. And then I bought like this little, it's called Gemini Slate. It was like a cheap little mixer board that I could afford. And I bought it and I was practicing with it. And so like my first SoundCloud mix I ever made was called Black Women Supremacy. It's still on my SoundCloud. And it had artists like Cuban Doll, Molly Brazy, Illuminati, China Rogers, RIP, City Girls, Queen Key, Sweetie, right? People like that. And so it wasn't something that like I added to my identity later, but it was really central from the beginning. And so I think that the DJing part, right, it allowed me to start communicating what the story I was trying to tell through the music through like the sequencing pattern, right? I could place the artists in conversations with each other. I could connect different regions, different generations, and different perspectives through sound. And so another thing that I'll say is that DJing really gave me confidence as a plus size 5'10" Black woman, right? I feel like I always stood out in school. I was always real tall. I was always bigger than people. I know I'm from the South, but still, like, as a kid, when you're growing up, you stand out, especially when you getting taller than everybody before they're getting tall, right? And so, like, when I DJ, I feel like my size helped. All right, like I was in there, I walked in the room, I was commanding the room, right? And I was creating this like listening environment. And so one of the most pivotal moments in my presence as a DJ and in my journey to pussy rap was when I began DJing for Jungle Pussy. So when I was a junior, maybe a junior or sophomore, we were in this video called Nah. Like if you go back to Jungle Pussy's earlier videos, I was in that one. She did one in my dorm room with me and my friends, but she was my homegirl, right? So we met at the video shoot, we hit it off. And you know, I already knew who Jungle Pussy was before I met her. Of course, right? She used to be on Twitter yelling in all caps. And that was T, right? And she was hilarious. So I feel like before I even met her, she was like this ultimate form of like Black women empowerment, even her name, right? Her lyrics are bold, you know, her music addressed her Blackness, colorism, desire, food, wellness, she's very healthy. And people who wanted like access to Black culture without even respecting Black culture or being Black. And so I think that Jungle Pussy, she really publicly describes herself through this like womanist language. Her interviews and when she's speaking, when she's rapping and things like that, it always talks about her relationship with her Black pride and her humor and her sexual expression. And so I think like being able to see her right there, it really helped me see what this true like embodiment looked like, right? And I think that like with Jungle Pussy, she knows she's sexy, right? But she didn't leave that definition of sexiness in men's hands. She described her own body and her own pleasures and her own wants and her own needs. And so there was one story I'll tell y'all. It's like we had a show in San Francisco and Cameron was like the headliner. And when we linked him backstage, he would not say her name. Like he refused to say it. And she's like, I'm Jungle Pussy, say it. And he was like, no. Right? Cameron. But of course, Cameron's a nut. So like you would, right? We know that. Especially now that he's on the podcast and he's actually talking a lot. It's like, all right, you know? So I actually liked the discomfort. It became something that I wanted more men to experience, right? And it came a little bit useful to me. So the fourth song that I'm going to play is called Cream Team by Jungle Pussy. It's one of her beginning songs. And you can pay attention to the humor, the sensuality, and how it's all working together, right? It's not really presented, her sensuality is not presented through an outsider's gaze, but it's narrated by herself, the person that's owning her own body. And I think this song represents that sexuality can be reclaimed as a weapon, right, against these male-controlled perspectives. And sexual agency is what we choose as women and what we can narrate for ourselves. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play it.
She flirting while she twerking, that's my stripper bitch. Getting money cause we lusty and we hella bad. Hustle, hustle, that pussy muscle. Hustle, hustle, that pussy muscle. When you keep my head flip, I'm on my stuntin' shit. When you see me in the streets, just know I'm running it. In the cut, like a fucking witch. Whipping weed, reckless, nothing under 20 inch. Keep the cooties on my coochie, keep it classy, bitch. All cheese, all green up on my sandwich. Broke niggas is the ones you can't make plans with. Don't got a whip, can't give shit but the dick. I'm getting sick, you make me sick, nigga. That's why I'm gagging and I'm rich, bitch, nigga. Go figure, 6 figures for this sick figure. Flexing, never fucking creaming off this pussy muscle hustle. Straight cash in my titty stash. Straight cash in my titty stash. Where my stripper bitch? Where my stripper bitch? Where my stripper bitch? Where my stripper bitch? Make it rain champagne. Make it rain champagne. Make it rain champagne. Make it rain champagne. Where my stripper bitch? Where my stripper bitch? Where my stripper bitch? Where my stripper bitch? Quality chick, creaming off the shit. Tricking on my bitches cause they thick mouth slick. Fat cunt, pussy muscle don't front. Body looking better than it did last month. Got your shit wet, word to dip set. Pussy raining champagne, better come correct. I pop the mo wet on any nigga neck. I pop the mo wet on any nigga neck. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Y'all, I'm hot. I'm so sorry. I'm like, my arms are sweating. So yeah, so for me, right, pussy, it's not necessarily like a body part, right? Because I think pussy rap doesn't really depend on the assumption that all women possess that same anatomy. Okay, so when I say pussy rap, that's not what I'm thinking about. Pussy is more of like an energy. It's a perspective. It's this like political symbol, and it's this form of self-possession. So like, right, so like in my work, ultimately like pussy represents like this intuition, this pleasure, this boldness, this survival, this refusal, and this refusal to remain hidden as a Black woman, right? In reclaiming the word, when you think about pussy, right, it's like an insult. Huh? Like, you're a pussy. He's a pussy, right? But when we reclaim it, we're changing really that direction of it, right? Instead of a weakness, it's a power. Instead of something that should be hidden, it's something that we should be announcing, okay? And so I think that, you know, pussy rap is not just about sex. It's about this form of music, this form of hip-hop, this form of rap that's been created from a position of feminine, queer, or woman-centered authority. It's music that refuses respectability, and it allows women to narrate themselves in all of their contradictions. And so not every woman is rapping about pussy, and that's exactly the point. Like, if you're listening to my show, you come to my sets, you'll know that, right? But pussy rap is protecting this freedom to present differently. And so in 2019, I began the show on NTS Radio. That was right after Jungle Pussy and I came to Europe for our first tour. And I think the radio format allowed me to do something differently than like it was when I was at a party or something like that. Because when you're at a party, you're responding to the room, right? You're looking at the people and you're seeing what they want to hear. Like, but when you're on a radio show, you could just do what you want to do. And if you want to listen, you could listen. If you don't, you could turn it off, you know? So I could play like emerging artists, independent artists, regional artists, international artists, right? Records that didn't necessarily have to produce the dance form, like for people to like start dancing to. And so one thing you'll notice about pussy rap is there's dollar signs in the name, right? And so what does that mean? Why did I put the dollar signs? Well, it's communicating value, right? The pussy is not present, but it has a value, right? And that's where the dollar signs come in. And it's not necessarily to mean like a monetary value, but more of like a theoretical, a cultural, this creative social value. I think money is one of we live in a capitalist society, right? So like money is like a clear symbol that we communicate worth with. And so the dollar sign insists that women's expression is valuable, right? And so the last song that I picked to share with y'all in this format is called Cocky as Fuck by Megan Thee Stallion, right? You know I was gonna play Megan because I'm from Houston. So y'all knew that like I was gonna end with that. But she's very familiar to me. Her sound, right? Her look, she's tall like me. Like my mom, when I was growing up and I used to cry like, oh my God, I'm so fat. My mom's like, you're a stallion, right? And so when Megan came out, I was like, oh yeah, like that's what we are. We're stallions, you know? So, yeah, I think that she, like, my mom and then Megan being validated as Megan Thee Stallion really helped me take a stance in that language and take a stance in understanding even myself further as a stallion as I got older. So as you listen, I want you to listen to Megan's scale. Her boasts are really large. Her physicality is large. Her sexual confidence is large. Her voice is occupying the beat without necessarily an apology. She's not presenting her thickness, her appetite, her ambition, her sexual confidence as problems that require correction. And so I think that, yeah, this song is telling me that like scale is really important. It's a creative asset. The things that they tell us that they tell black women that we're too loud, we're too tall, too thick, too sexual. I've been told like too southern, too aggressive, too confident, right? All of those are actually foundations for our creative and our artistic authority. So without further ado,
cocky as fuck, everything about me poppin'. Got face, I got body, you name it, I got it. Cocky as fuck, bitch, you know I'm conceited. Yo, hoe wanna beat me, yo, nigga want eat it. Cocky as fuck, everything about me poppin'. Got face, I got body, you name it, I got it. Cocky as fuck, nigga, fuck your opinion. I hustle or get it, I get it, I get it. I am not seeking approval. I'm number one, I tell bitches what to do. He heard I'm Creole, he think I know voodoo. Bitch, I will twist your ass up like a noodle. Ho, you a copy of me, you a doodle. Bitches is blocking to me like I'm Kodak. All of my bitches is yellow, they bodak. Hop out the whip at the light and they throw that. Cocky as fuck in the mouth with your daddy, he kissing the ground that I walk on. Cocky as fuck in the pic with your nigga, he bought everything that I got on. Ayy, throw that, bitch, I look good and you know that. They say I got me some money and change. Little bitch, you knew I was popping before that. Ayy, yeah, sexy as fuck. Look in the mirror, I'm madly in love. Rubbing some dubs on the bitch in the tub. Yo, nigga suck it like a Capri Sun. Tell him, come pick me up at the school. I'm tryna hammer that dick like a screw. I'm tryna give you something you could chew. I'm tryna give you that M.A. that ooh. I got the moves like a damn kangaroo. Foot in they act cause these bitches my shoes. I am the captain, they do what I do. On top of these bitches head like a roof. Cocky as fuck and my friends cocky too. I'm fine as fuck and they all sexy too. If I got beef with you, they got it too. Bitch, I'm the truth and your nigga the proof. Cocky as fuck, everything about me poppin'. Got face, I got body, you name it, I got it. Cocky as fuck, bitch, you know I'm conceited. Yo, hoe wanna beat me, yo, nigga want eat it. Cocky as fuck, everything about me poppin'. Got face, I got body, you name it, I got it. Cocky as fuck, nigga, fuck your opinion. I hustle or get it, I get it, I get it. Bitch, do it look like I fight? Ho, just be cool when I got on this ice. This shit is Gucci, this shit is too tight. I only sweat when I go exercise. You cannot touch me, so don't even try. Bitch, I will pull up and pop you like pie. Keep telling bitches this shit could get ratchet. I'm with some niggas that's gon' make it happen. I'm holding my pussy like it's a weapon. I cut a nigga off like a machete. I put a price on your head like you Kelly. Megan from Texas, I'm naturally sexy. This that flossy pussy. Y'all rock suits, that's bossy pussy. Tell them use a lot to spit so I could keep a glossy pussy. He give me neck like a yo-yo. Talk to my kitty like hello. Slide on your mouth like a cello. Bougie but fuck like I'm ghetto. You don't like me, get in line, ho. I be on your mind, though. Bitch, you know I'm poppin', you just hatin' cause I'm fine, ho. Bitch, eat a dick, don't like me, then stay off my shit, You need to hold your tongue, unless you gon' lick on my clit,
Okay, period. So, I think that's all that I have for my presentation, but I'll end by playing a little bit of bounce music. I didn't play much during the session, but I play a lot of bounce music when I DJ. It's my favorite, my favorite thing, right? So I'll play a little bit of bounce music. Y'all could talk, y'all could move around, y'all could do whatever y'all want. I'm gonna try to stay cool, and that's it. That's it. Yeah.